Hello. Hello, class. This is my multi-unit lesson plan. My name is Megan Derrick Acius, and it is on animal classification. So, starting off with some background knowledge, just in case, here are the different types of animals that I will be talking about and students will be learning about in this lesson. Of course, there are exceptions to each rule, but starting off, we have mammals. They breathe with lungs. They give birth live, not with eggs. They have hair or fur. Birds breathe with lungs. They lay eggs. Typically, they have feathers. Reptiles breathe with lungs also. They mostly lay eggs. Some give live birth. They have scaly skin or plates. Amphibians have gills. They start off with gills and then they evolve into lungs. Most of them lay eggs. They live in water and then onto land. And fish, they breathe through their gills. Most of them lay eggs and they live in the water. Again, there are exceptions, so just be careful with that. Here are the standards that are covered in this multi-unit lesson plan. We have English language learner standards to communicate information, ideas, and concepts necessary for academic success in the content of science. Science standard for grade 3, classify animals into major groups. Mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish is what I focused on. But it also covers vertebrates and invertebrates, and those having live birth and those which lay eggs according to their physical characteristics and behaviors. And then another science standard, this one's kind of a prerequisite. Create developmentally appropriate multimedia products with support from teachers, family members, or student partners. And that one is computer science and computer programming. Here are the main objectives covered in these plans. Students will be able to name the animals, mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, and fish in English. This starting off with the first part of the lesson, and then it eventually leads to the classification of animals. And students will be able to replicate the names of animals based on the images and correct pronunciation. And the assessments. The assessments are multiple choice questions with images, Google 3D classifications, a matching game, and creating an animal based on a rubric. The instructional strategies are gradual release, using scaffolding, partner work, and group work. And the technology used in these lessons, we have Google 3D or Google Augmented Reality, Minecraft for Education, Padlet, QR codes, and Linguini. Lesson plan, this one starts off kind of basic and then they get more challenging throughout the different lessons. This one, it starts off with the teacher pulling up the following website. I will show you that in a minute. So kind of on the whiteboard, I will pull up these little flashcards and point to them, and students will repeat after each one. And then we do, as a class, we will watch the Linguini video on animals. And then in activity is for pairs or small groups of students. Students will log on to their devices, if able, and they will listen and pronounce each animal name with each other. And then the assessment is just an informal check-in, so the teacher will be walking around and listening in to the different groups. So here's the Linguini website, animals. So here we have a wide variety of animals, and you can point to them. You can also click on them and it will pronounce them. Okay, and then moving on, we have the second lesson plan. This one, it gets a little bit more challenging. So students will use the website or the app Padlet to view 6 short clips. Each one is about 2 minutes long about different animals. And they will type in what they think each one is, what type of animal it is. Let me pull that up real quick. Okay. Here we go. I also provided a QR code so students can just scan that if they have mobile devices. So here we go. This is the Padlet that I created. So students will go on and view the video. Yeah. Okay, so it talks about, in the video it says, they breathe with gills. So students will type in, I think this is a fish, and then they'll post it. And yeah, it's kind of a fun way for students to explore. Okay. And then for their assessment, they will complete something similar, but this is on a Google form. It'll have images, and they will type in their answer. Then the next lesson plan, this one takes a little bit longer, but this one is fun and exciting. So students will be using their Chromebooks that have the Google Chrome app installed, and they will navigate to these different types of animals using Google 3D. They will just type in tiger, and it will show them what a tiger looks like using augmented reality. And then for their assessment, they will do something similar and try to find one animal per classification. And for the last lesson plan, they are using Minecraft for education. And students will log on. The teacher will share the link to design an animal. So based on the biome they choose, they will be creating an animal that can survive in that biome. For example, if they pick the ocean biome, they of course will be creating an animal that has gills and has all the characteristics of a fish. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for listening to my plan.